Hello and welcome to the new Mindscape. In this series of videos, I'm going to be talking about human nature and what spirituality and religion has to say about our human nature and about how to cultivate our spiritual nature. As we all know, philosophers have been debating about human nature for millennia, both in Chinese and Western philosophy. So I'm sure you know about the debate about human nature between Mencius and Xunzi in China. Xunzi believed that people were born evil and that education is necessary to make them good. And on the contrary, Mencius believed that people were born good, but that a lack of education would cause people to fall into evil. So there's this debate between the two of them, but in fact, what Mencius and Xunzi wanted to achieve was the same. Both of them believed that morality is what defines us as human beings, and that moral education is essential to nurturing our humanity, either to correct our innate evil, as Xunzi put it, or to cultivate our innate goodness, as in the case of Mencius. So for both of them, without moral education, they agreed that the result would be the same, that humans would become inhuman, not human. So this is what Mencius wrote about the topic. He said, "All people have a heart that can't stand to see the sufferings of others." Why do I say that human beings have a heart that cannot stand to see the sufferings of others? Even nowadays, if an infant were about to fall into a well, anyone would be upset and concerned. This concern wouldn't be due to the fact that the person wanted to get in good with the baby's parents, or because he wanted to improve his reputation among the community or among his circle of friends. Nor would it be because he was afraid of the criticism that might result from a show of non-concern. From this point of view, we can say that if you did lack concern for an infant, you would not be human. So this was Mencius' point of view on the innate goodness of human nature. And so he considered that moral education is important in order to maintain that innate goodness before we lose it. But can we really transform people through moral education? Can people be educated to become moral, to develop their moral character? In student discussions in past years, many examples have been brought up to show that some people become morally better persons in their lives, while others become less moral and more self-centered. And it seems that the social environment, which includes education, but also other influences such as parents and friends, the media, and so on, can be factors in the changes that we see in people. So, in considering this question, we first need to remember that there's a difference between education in general and moral education in particular. Mencius said that we should start with moral education, on which we can add other kinds of education. This is an important point because in Asia, a lot of people consider that if you're well educated, you will be more moral. They think that it's not unusual for an uneducated farmer to commit a crime or to act out of self-interest, but they're shocked when well-educated people behave immorally. But the fact is, you might have a PhD degree, you might even be a professor and be the most knowledgeable and educated person in the world, but if you don't have a moral sense, you might do the worst things in the world. So the issue here isn't education in general, but what kind of education can strengthen, preserve, or develop our morality? Mencius and Xunzi held the belief that the appropriate kind of moral education can transform people, either making them better morally or protecting them from becoming morally worse. To them, human beings change, and the right kind of education could change human beings morally. They didn't consider that people's moral character, whether good or evil, remains unchanged forever. This is interesting because human beings can change morally, and yet animals can't. We can train animals. If we treat our pets or other animals well, after a while they may become good to us. However, they can't develop any moral sense through any kind of training. Only human beings can transform morally in either a positive or negative way. It's true that some children seem to naturally have very generous and caring dispositions, and for other children it might well be the opposite. So, no matter how they start off, can they be educated to become even better? Will a lack of moral education cause even good children to lose their moral qualities?